The Ghost Fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation. 50 black warships, each a masterpiece of human engineering, surrounded the Retribution like protective wolves around their pack leader. The arrival sent shockwaves through subspace that every advanced species in the galaxy detected. Admiral Roberts stood on the bridge of the USS Vengeance, the Ghost Fleet's command ship. Her gray hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her eyes held the wisdom of 40 years in Earth's military. "All ships, report status," she commanded. One by one, the captains checked in. The USS Thunder, commanded by Captain Lee. The USS Eclipse, under Captain Anderson. The USS Prometheus, led by Captain Williams. Each ship carried weapons that humanity had hoped never to use: planet crackers, singularity bombs, and reality destabilizers. "Admiral, the Galactic Grand Fleet will arrive in 6 hours," reported her tactical officer, Lieutenant Johnson. "We're also detecting something interesting. 17 Galactic colonies have declared neutrality after seeing our fleet." Roberts nodded thoughtfully. "The Empire is already fracturing. Good. Open a channel to Captain James." James appeared on her screen, saluting respectfully. "Admiral, good to see you. The Galactic won't know what hit them." "Captain, your message to their colonies was brilliant," Roberts said. "We're not here to commit genocide. We're here to end their threat to humanity permanently. But if we can do it without destroying their entire species, that's the path we take, 300 light years away." Emperor Drax stood on the bridge of his personal dreadnought, the pride of Galactic. It was the largest warship ever built by his empire, 15 kilometers of armor and weapons. Around him, 3,000 ships of the Grand Fleet prepared for the jump to battle. "Emperor, we're receiving reports of colonial defections," General Kron said nervously. "Some governors are refusing to send reinforcements. Traitors and cowards," Drax snarled. "After we destroy the humans, we will deal with them. Begin the jump." Today, the galaxy learns why the Galactic rule supreme. The Grand Fleet entered hyperspace as one massive force. They had conquered civilizations, destroyed planets, and enslaved billions. No force in known space could stand against such numbers. But humanity was not from known space. Earth had developed in isolation, without knowledge of galactic politics or limitations. When humans finally reached the stars and learned about the violent empires that ruled through fear, they prepared. Not for conquest, but for defense. And humans had always been exceptional at defending themselves. On the USS Retribution, Captain James addressed his crew. "In 4 hours, we faced the largest enemy fleet in history. But remember, we are humanity. We survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. We split the atom and touched the stars. Today, we show the galaxy that attacking humanity was the last mistake the Galactic Empire will ever make." The crew cheered, their fear replaced by determination. They had trained for this moment. Every system was checked and double-checked. The void shields hummed with power. The antimatter cannons glowed with contained destruction. Admiral Roberts coordinated the Ghost Fleet's formation. Formation Delta 7. Create overlapping fields of fire. No Galactic ship gets through. The human ships spread out in a sphere, their weapons covering every angle of approach. Each ship's eye talked to the others, creating a network of tactical genius that could process millions of calculations per second. "Admiral, I'm detecting civilian ships fleeing from nearby systems," Lieutenant Johnson reported. "Other species are evacuating. They expect this battle to destroy everything within 50 light years." "Let them run," Roberts replied. "They'll witness history from a safe distance. Send a message on all frequencies. Any non-Galactic ship is free to leave. We have no quarrel with other species." As the hours passed, more Galactic colonies declared neutrality. The empire that had stood for 3 centuries was crumbling from within. Fear of the Emperor was being replaced by fear of humanity's power. On Earth, billions watched the live feeds from the fleet. Children who had lost parents in the colony attacks stood with their remaining family. Workers stopped their tasks to witness this moment. Humanity had been peaceful for so long that many had forgotten their species' capacity for war. They were about to remember that President Shun addressed the planet from the Global Council chambers. Today, we show the galaxy that humanity chooses peace, but we are not helpless. Those who mistake our kindness for weakness learn a fatal lesson. The Galactic Empire chose violence. Now they face the consequences. In schools across Earth, teachers explained to young students why this battle was necessary. Humanity had tried diplomacy. The Galactic had answered with murder. Sometimes, to protect peace, one must be willing to wage war. The countdown continued. 4 hours became 3, then 2, then 1. The Galactic Grand Fleet erupted from hyperspace in a display of power meant to terrorize any enemy. 3,000 warships filled the void, their formations perfect, their weapons charging. Emperor Drax stood proudly on his command deck, expecting to see one lone human ship cowering before his might. Instead, he saw 50 black vessels arranged in a perfect defensive sphere. The Ghost Fleet hung in space like a promise of doom, their dark hulls drinking in light, their weapons already aimed. Emperor, General Kron's voice shook. We're detecting energy readings beyond our comprehension. Each human ship outputs more power than a star. Before Drax could respond, Admiral Roberts' voice echoed across all channels. Galactic Fleet, this is Admiral Roberts of Earth's Ghost Fleet. You have one opportunity to surrender. Power down your weapons and retreat to your space. This offer expires in 60 seconds. The Emperor's rage exploded. All ships, attack immediately. Destroy these arrogant humans. The space between the fleets erupted in violence. Thousands of plasma bolts, missiles, and energy beams launched from the Galactic ships. The display would have been beautiful, if not for its deadly purpose. Any normal fleet would have been instantly vaporized, but the Ghost Fleet's void shields activated simultaneously, creating overlapping bubbles of twisted space. The Galactic weapons simply vanished, sent into pocket dimensions where they could harm nothing. Not a single human ship took damage. Our turn, Admiral Roberts said calmly. All ships, execute Thunderstrike protocol. 50 antimatter beams fired in perfect synchronization. They carved through space like swords of light, each finding a target with impossible precision. 50 Galactic battleships ceased to exist, not destroyed, but completely erased from reality. The Galactic fleet paused, shocked by the instant loss of their heavy battleships. That pause cost them dearly. Asterisk. The massive warship emerged from hyperspace without warning. Its black hull absorbed light like a void, making it nearly invisible against the darkness of space. The ship measured 10 kilometers long, bristling with weapons that had never been seen in this part of the galaxy. Captain James stood on the bridge of the UEC Retribution, humanity's most advanced warship. His crew of 500 worked silently at their stations. They had traveled for 6 months to reach the Orion sector, where 3 human colony ships had disappeared without explanation. Sir, we're detecting multiple alien vessels ahead, reported Lieutenant Maria from her sensor station. Her fingers moved quickly across the holographic displays, counting 30 ships, all heavily armed. They matched the configuration of the vessels that attacked our colonies. The captain's jaw tightened. Earth had been peaceful for centuries, focusing on exploration and science. But when the colonies went silent, humanity remembered its ancient skill for war. The Retribution was the result, a ship built with technologies that other species considered impossible. They're hailing us, Captain, said Commander David at Communications. The translation matrix is working. They call themselves the Galactic Empire. On the main screen, an alien face appeared. The creature had gray skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Its voice came through the speakers, translated into English. "Unknown vessel, you have entered Galactic territory. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. Your primitive species will make excellent slaves." James remained calm. He had studied the reports from the few survivors who escaped the colony attacks. The Galactic had killed millions of humans without mercy. They viewed humanity as weak because humans preferred diplomacy over conflict. "This is Captain James of the United Earthship Retribution," he replied steadily. "You have destroyed 3 of our colonies and murdered our people. We demand you withdraw from this sector immediately." The alien laughed, a harsh sound like grinding metal. "One ship against the might of the Galactic Empire? Your species is more foolish than we thought. Fleet Commander Voss, destroy them." The 30 Galactic ships moved into attack formation. Each was twice the size of normal Earth vessels, painted in the red and gold colors of their empire. They had conquered 40 species over 300 years. No one had ever defeated a Galactic fleet. "Sir, they're charging weapons," Maria reported. "Energy readings are off the scale. Activate the void shields," James ordered. "Charge the antimatter cannons. Target their flagship." The crew moved with practiced precision. The Retribution's secret weapons came online. Void shields created a bubble of twisted space around the ship, making it impossible to hit. The antimatter cannons could destroy a moon with a single shot. The Galactic fired first. Hundreds of plasma bolts and missiles streaked through space toward the human ship. They hit the void shields and simply disappeared, sent into another dimension. The aliens stopped firing, confused by what they had witnessed. "Our turn," James said quietly. "Fire." A single beam of pure antimatter erupted from the Retribution's main cannon. It crossed the distance in less than a second. The Galactic flagship, a vessel that had survived 100 battles, vanished in a flash of light. Not destroyed, completely erased from existence. The bridge fell silent. The remaining 29 Galactic ships hung motionless in space, their crews too shocked to respond. They had never seen such power. Their most advanced weapons looked like toys compared to what the humans possessed. "Sir, the Galactic ships are retreating," David reported, amazement in his voice. "They're sending distress signals to their homeworld." James nodded slowly. "Let them run. Let them tell their empire what they saw here today." He turned to his crew. "Send a message to Earth. Tell them we've made contact with the force responsible for destroying our colonies. The Galactic Empire is about to learn why humanity stopped making weapons of war. We became too good at it." The Retribution hung in space, a dark sentinel against the stars. Word would spread through the galaxy quickly. Earth's deadliest warship had arrived, and empires would tremble. Asterisk, 3 days passed after the destruction of the Galactic flagship. The news spread through the empire like wildfire. On the Galactic homeworld, Emperor Drax sat on his throne of conquered metals, each piece taken from a defeated species. His 4 eyes burned with rage as he watched the recording of his finest warship disappearing in an instant. One human ship did this? The Emperor's voice echoed through the vast throne room. One ship destroyed Admiral Voss and sent our fleet running? General Kron, the Empire's supreme military commander, stood before the throne. His gray skin had turned pale with fear. "Yes, Emperor. The humans possess technology we cannot understand. Their shields sent our weapons into nothingness. Their single weapon erased our flagship completely." The Emperor stood, his 3-meter height towering over everyone in the room. "Gather the Grand Fleet, every warship in the Empire. We will crush these humans and take their technology. Send the order to all sectors. Total war against Earth." Meanwhile, aboard the Retribution, Captain James studied the tactical displays with his senior officers. The ship's AI had intercepted thousands of Galactic communications. The aliens were mobilizing their entire military force. "Captain, We're tracking over 3,000 Galactic vessels converging on our position, reported Lieutenant Maria. They'll arrive in approximately 40 hours. Commander David looked concerned. Sir, that's the largest fleet assembly in recorded galactic history. Even with our technology, those numbers are overwhelming. James touched a panel on the command table. A holographic image appeared showing Earth and its colonies. The Retribution was never meant to fight alone. Send the activation code to Earth. Tell them to launch the Ghost Fleet. On Earth, in a hidden facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, Admiral Roberts received the message. She had waited 30 years for this moment. Humanity had built not one super warship, but 50. They remained hidden, powered down, waiting for the day when Earth would need to show its true strength. All Ghost Fleet vessels. This is Admiral Roberts. Activation code confirmed. Launch immediate. The Retribution needs support. Across Earth's oceans, massive doors opened on the seafloor. Ships rose from hidden bases, each as powerful as the Retribution. The UES Vengeance, the UES Justice, the U's Thunder, names chosen to remind the galaxy that humanity could be pushed only so far. The Ghost Fleet entered hyperspace together, their destination the Orion sector. They would arrive just as the Galactic Grand Fleet reached the Retribution. The aliens expected to overwhelm one ship. They would instead face humanity's full military might. Back in Galactic space, colonies throughout the Empire received orders to provide resources for the war effort. Slave species were forced to work harder in weapons factories. The Kalash had ruled through fear for centuries, believing their massive fleets made them invincible. Lord Zek, one of the Empire's oldest advisors, approached Emperor Drax privately. Emperor, perhaps we should consider negotiation. If the humans possess such weapons, war could destroy us. The Emperor struck Lord Zek with enough force to send him across the room. The Galactic do not negotiate with inferior species. We are the masters of this galaxy. These humans will learn their place, as slaves or as ashes. On a small Galactic colony near the border, Administrator Yar watched the military broadcasts with growing concern. He had governed this world for 50 years, seeing many species brought under Galactic rule. But something felt different about these humans. The complete destruction of Admiral Voss's ship suggested a level of power that shouldn't exist. Sir, his assistant entered the office. The human ship sent a message to all Galactic colonies. Should I delete it? No, play it, Yar ordered, curious despite himself. Captain James appeared on the screen, his face calm but determined. Citizens of the Galactic Empire, your government has chosen war against humanity. We do not wish to destroy your civilization, but we will defend ourselves. Any colony that declares neutrality will be spared. Any ship that attacks us will be erased. You have seen what one of our ships can do. Soon you will see 50. Choose wisely. Administrator Yar stared at the screen long after the message ended. 50 ships with that level of power? He thought of his family, his children, the millions of civilians on his world. Perhaps the Emperor's pride would finally lead to the Empire's end. Sir, what are your orders? His assistant asked. YA made a decision that would change his life forever. Send a response to the human ship. This colony declares neutrality. We will not participate in the Emperor's war. He was the first, but not the last. Across the Empire, doubt began to spread like cracks in a foundation. Asterisk. Continue firing, Roberts ordered. Target their command vessels. The Ghost Fleet's weapons recharged in seconds, technology that should have taken years to cool down. Another volley eliminated 100 more ships. The Galactic tried to adapt, spreading their formation, but the human targeting systems were beyond their understanding. Captain James, aboard the Retribution, focused on the enemy's left flank. Launch the Singularity missiles, he commanded. From the Retribution's hull, 12 missiles emerged. They were small, no larger than shuttles, but each contained a miniature black hole held in magnetic suspension. The missiles reached their targets and detonated. 12 temporary singularities appeared among the Galactic fleet, pulling dozens of ships into crushing oblivion before dissipating. Emperor Drax watched his mighty fleet being systematically destroyed. Impossible. We are the Galactic. We have ruled for 3 centuries. Emperor, we've lost 800 ships. General Kron reported. Our weapons cannot penetrate their shields. We must retreat. Never. Drax roared. Ram them. If our weapons won't work, we'll crush them with our hulls. 100 Galactic ships accelerated toward the Ghost Fleet, planning to break through with sheer mass. Admiral Roberts shook her head sadly. They choose death over wisdom. Activate reality destabilizers. The space around the charging Galactic ships began to ripple. Reality itself became unstable, causing the enemy vessels to phase in and out existence. When the effect ended, the ships were gone, scattered across parallel dimensions, never to return. On the U's Thunder, Captain Lee watched his tactical display. Admiral, we're receiving surrender signals from multiple Galactic vessels. Cease fire on any ship that powers down weapons. Roberts ordered immediately. We're not monsters. We accept their surrender. One by one, Galactic ships began powering down. First dozens, then hundreds. The crews had seen enough. No amount of Imperial loyalty was worth certain death. Emperor Drax watched his fleet crumble. Cowards, traitors. Continue the attack. But even his own bridge crew hesitated. They had witnessed 2,000 ships destroyed in minutes. The humans had lost nothing, not even shield power. Emperor, General Kron stepped forward, removing his rank insignia. I cannot follow orders that lead to genocide of our own people. I formally surrender. Drax pulled his plasma pistol, but before he could fire, his own guards restrained him. They had families on the homeworld. They had seen enough death. The pride of Galactic, the Emperor's mighty dreadnought, powered down its weapons. Across the battlefield, the remaining 1,000 Galactic ships followed suit. The Battle of Orion was over in less than 20 minutes. Admiral Roberts opened a channel to all ships. Surrendered vessels, you will return to your space and await further instructions. Any ship that powers weapons again will be destroyed. The Galactic Empire's age of conquest is over. She turned to her crew. Send word to Earth. We've won. The colonies are avenged. 1 month after the Battle of Orion, the galaxy had changed completely. The Galactic Empire, which had terrorized dozens of species for 3 centuries, no longer existed. In its place, a provisional government worked to transition the former empire into separate, peaceful worlds. Captain James stood in the Grand Assembly Hall on the Galactic homeworld. Representatives from 40 species filled the vast chamber, including those who had been enslaved by the Empire. Admiral Roberts sat at the head of the assembly, moderating the discussions about the galaxy's future. The Ghost Fleet will remain in Galactic space for 1 year, Roberts announced. We will ensure a peaceful transition and prevent any warlords from seizing power. After that, each world will govern itself. A representative from the Altari, a species enslaved for 200 years, stood up. Admiral, why show mercy? The Galactic destroyed entire civilizations. They deserve extinction. Roberts understood the anger, but remained firm. Genocide is never the answer. The civilians on these worlds, the children, they didn't choose their empire's actions. We end the cycle of violence here. Former Emperor Drax sat in chains, awaiting trial for war crimes. His empire had crumbled in days after the battle. When word spread that Earth's fleet could destroy any ship instantly, the colonies surrendered without fighting. The emperor who had ruled through fear found himself powerless when faced with a greater strength. General Cron, now working with the transitional government, approached Captain James after the assembly. "Captain, I must know, how did humanity develop such technology? The void shields, the antimatter cannons, these should be impossible." James considered his answer carefully. "When humanity discovered faster-than-light travel and met other species, we learned about the violent empires that ruled through force. We had a choice: remain defenseless or prepare. We chose to prepare, but we developed weapons so terrible that we locked them away, hoping never to use them." "But you did use them," Cron observed. "Only when forced," James replied. "Your empire destroyed 3 colonies. Millions of innocent humans died. We showed restraint by not destroying your entire civilization in return." On Earth, the response to the Ghost Fleet's victory was mixed. Many celebrated the end of the Galactic threat, but others worried about humanity's new reputation. In a single battle, Earth had become the most feared military power in the galaxy. President Shun addressed these concerns in a speech to the Global Council. "We revealed our strength not to conquer, but to protect. The Ghost Fleet will return to Earth after ensuring peace. We will not become what we fought against." The message was broadcast across the galaxy. Species that had hidden from the Galactic began to emerge. Trade routes reopened. For the first time in centuries, ships traveled without fear of Imperial raiders. On a former Galactic mining world, the enslaved workers were freed. A young human colonist named Tom, one of the few survivors from the destroyed colonies, helped distribute food and medical supplies. He had lost his family to the Galactic attacks, but he chose to help rather than seek revenge. "Why?" asked the freed slave, confused by the human's kindness. "Because," Tom replied, "hatred only creates more hatred. My family is gone, but destroying your people won't bring them back. Better to build a future where this never happens again." 6 months into the transition, several former Galactic worlds applied to join the United Earth Alliance. They had seen humanity's power, but also its restraint. The humans could have conquered the galaxy, but chose not to. That choice earned respect. Admiral Roberts prepared to return to Earth with most of the Ghost Fleet. Only 5 ships would remain to monitor the situation. She met with Captain James one last time. "You started this, Captain," she said. "Your actions at the first encounter set the tone for everything that followed. I simply did what was necessary." James replied, "The Galactic thought we were weak because we preferred peace. They learned that choosing peace and being capable of war are not contradictory." As the Ghost Fleet departed, thousands of ships from various species gathered to witness. Not in fear, but in respect. The humans had shown the galaxy a new way: strength without tyranny, power without oppression. The Galactic Empire's fall became a legend told across the stars. How one species, pushed too far, revealed weapons that could erase empires. But more importantly, how they chose justice over vengeance, peace over conquest. Earth's warships returned to their hidden bases beneath the oceans, hopefully never to be needed again. But the galaxy knew they were there, waiting, watching. A silent reminder that humanity's kindness should never be mistaken for weakness. The age of empires built on fear had ended. A new age of cooperation had begun, protected by Earth's silent guardians. Asterisk.